G'day mate and welcome to Capital History with me, G'day. Today I want to cover the train lines, the train line manager. I want to cover everything from your first line to your second line to your last line. I also want to cover a lot of the advanced options that can be set up on your different train lines to make sure that we have a full understanding of how the train line manager works and how we can get trains to not drive around empty, also not driving back and forth with full cargo, and at the same time probably do some optimizations so we can get, say, one train to drive to multiple stations and drop off fuel at every single mining outpost. Yeah, I'd like to talk about all those sorts of things. So that's going to be today's plan for today's video. I also need to mention this is going to be my fourth dedicated train tutorial for Capital Industry. I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to link the other three down in the description below, and I'll do you one better. I'll actually put in the first pinned comment. Well, there are two things. One is going to be a playlist to all my tutorials, just in case you want to go deep diving into something else, because they're all split into different topics. And I'll also put in there my top 10 tips for Capital Industry, because, well, everyone going to do with an extra tip or two. But with that out of the way, we should get into today's video, because I have no idea when this train's going to end. Let's talk about our setup. We have our train depot right here. We have a simple loop, so our train can get on and off our test lines. And then we have our test setup over here. We have our virtual coal mine, you might call it, along with our, coal drop-off station. So with that out of the way, let's start building our very first line. So our very first line, we're going to go into the train line manager. I'm going to say new line, and I do highly recommend you name things as you go. So we're going to call this the coal line. And we're going to set up, our stations. So we're going to have add stop. We're going to select this train station. And if you hold down shift, it won't take you back to the train line manager until you've added all the stations and let go of the shift button. So I can add both of these and then, left go of shift. And we get our coal unload station being the first one we added, and the coal load station as the second station. Okay, that's what we're going to do. It's going to be a very, very simple train line. We're not going to complicate things too much, but then we need a train. So we need to come into the train depot. We need to have a new train. We're going to go with a steam locomotive, and we're also going to go with 2 hopper wagons. At the same time, I can select a line right here. I'm going to say coal line. I'm going to say build. And that should give us a train. If I unpause the game, yep. And our little choo-choo should pop out here and start doing his route. So his route is a very, very simple one. He's going to, go to the coal unload first. Yep. And then he's going to head to the coal load station at the other end, where he's going to hopefully load up with some coal and head back to the other end. What he doesn't know is the belts are secretly working against him and moving everything in the other direction. So, he looks pretty much loaded, and he's going to head back to the other end. And then when he gets there, he should unload. Very, very simple setup, but this should be probably similar to your very first coal line. Can I get rid of that? Also want to point out very quickly that if you zoom all the way in, you can see that all the loose material gets dumped out the bottom, which point it gets picked up back in the module and popped back out on the belts in the back. Very little cute feature the devs have put in. But our train's not going to do this forever, because we're using fuel. We're down to, 80% fuel after one trip back and forth already, which means we need to definitely set up some sort of fuel for this train. So I want to expand out our options and expand out our line just a little bit by automating fuel. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove just a little bit of track so I can add a couple of modules. We want to go into the rail section. We want to go buildings. I want to put in a fluid station module. Yep, so I can load up some fluid. At the same time, I'm going to put in a steam fuel module. Cool. With those two done, we're going to re-add back in our track. And then I want to put a tank back here. You're going to be water. Cool. And you're going to be loading up water, and you're facing the right way, are you? No. Now you're facing the right way. Cool. We're going to put our pipe in there, and we're going to put in our pipe in there. Cool. Our train's probably stuck because I broke the line, but that should be you running. No, here's our train right now. Perfect. And then I want to do the same at this end. Now, you might say, Jetty, why are you putting fuel at both ends? What has this got to do with the train line manager? We'll get there. We'll get there. Can we do fuel fluid here? And then can I do a steam fuel module here? And then can I plug that back in so a train doesn't get interrupted? Can we do that? And I want you to be unload. I want you to be water. And then I want to put the tank here. And then we're just going to run a pipe into there. I'm also going to run a belt into here. Cool. Can I get all of that built at the same time? All right, so we can see our train. The problem is he's still running out of fuel. and we don't have any way to transport water, so he's not going to really get fueled at this end or the other. So what I want to do is I want to upgrade our train to now carry water as well, and the only way we can do that is by well, retrofitting the train. And the only way to retrofit the train is send it to the depot to get retrofitted. So we're going to speed up time, so our little choo-choo can reverse his way all the way back into here and then disappear into the depot. Now, one of the big differences between the train manager and the train system compared to the truck system is when he is scrapped, he doesn't turn back into raw material, he turns back into, well, parts that we can rearrange our train with. So we're going to go back to new train. We already have our existing train, and the only thing I want to add is a tanker wagon on the end, and then we're going to build him again. And then he's going to pop back out with the new setup where he can now move around some water, and hopefully I've had long enough, that we have some water here ready to go. So our steam fuel module here has water, doesn't have coal. And if we notice our train here, he didn't refill whilst he was here. He did fill up with water, which was good. That's one of the things we wanted him to do. But he didn't bother filling up with any coal, any water in his engine. So if we get him filled up and we head off to the other end, we can look at this one. This one has coal, but doesn't have any water. But when he shows up, we should be in a situation where we can unload the water into the tank and then unload it into the fuel module. And now he should be 100% fueled at this end. I could have just as easily made sure we had fuel at that end, but this is something I want you to think about when it comes to, well, not so much your steam trains, but definitely your diesel trains. It's probably going to be fairly easy to move diesel around. Also, you might notice that he is left with still having resources on him. He's down driving back with resources on him. We'd like to change a few things. So we're going to head back in the train line manager. We're going to add a filter for coal unload. We want you to unload coal. Now this is optional. You don't have to do this. We want you to load water. And I also want to add a departure condition. I want to say empty of products. And I want to say specific product. Yep. And coal. Cool. Yep. So with that modification done, can I move this over here? And you are good. Yep, ready to go. Excellent. You can drive to the other end. And now he should park at this station until he manages to dump all the coal off. Because I don't really want him leaving if he still has coal on board. And, well, he's never going to unload because my belt's blocked. Cool. All right. So he's now sitting there waiting to unload. He's going to stop burning fuel. That's just as important because we're maxed out at coal at this end. I can also improve this once again by having a truck have a confusion. I can say, you guys, I want you to request only a train if, well, actually, can we go here? Can we go add, no, it's departure condition. I want an arrival condition. So we can only request a train if, any module is full. Any module is full is probably my best one. The catch is, as I'm dropping off water, there's a chance that this module might be full at all times. I'd really like to just narrow it down to coal, but that means I have possibly a better reason to make sure that I had dedicated water train and then a dedicated coal train into two separate stations. But we can now make sure that he only leaves to come here if any of these two modules are full, or potentially all three of them, and therefore he'd only drive out if he can get a full load at the other end. Right, so that's our first little example with a whole bunch of stuck trucks, and then let's move on to our slightly more expanded example over here. Okay, so let's set the scene. We have track, set direction. So I have the same loop, except I have two exit tracks this time. We have a dirt and stone unload station. We have an iron unload station, and then in here we have a simple crossover. So either of these two train tracks can access, well, the main line out or the main line in. I've kept my main line nice and short, nice and simple, because this is just an example, but we're gonna go head up on the right and then back on the left. Here we have another crossover, so we can come to our two stations. We have two stations set up here. One is gonna be iron loading along with rock and dirt from our virtual iron mine, and the other one's going to be a fuel station, because obviously often we want to have fuel out for our diggy boys, and I also want to have a smaller one of those. Can I go? No, it's under logistics. Fuel station. You can have a tier 1 fuel station, because otherwise it's going to take forever to fill up. And can you have one of those? Cool. All right. Yes. So what I want to do is I want to bring fuel out here, and of course I would assign my fuel station to fill up this mine to make sure they're full of fuel, and we want to set up these lines. So can I start with the train line manager? We're going to have a new line. I'm going to call this iron load. Sure. Load. Cool. We're going to have another new line. This is going to be rock and dirt. Yep. Because that's going to be picking up rock and dirt. And our third line we're going to call fuel. Nice and simple. Cool. All right. So the iron load. The iron load, I want you to come to this station to obviously drop off the iron. And then I want you to come to this station to pick up the iron. Well, that should be you. Rock and dirt. If I click add stop, and I click here and I don't hold down shift, it brings me straight back to here. At which point I can go to here. All right. So you're going to go there and there. And then our third one being the fuel station, I want you to come to here, which is a little siding we've got off the main line to pick up fuel. And then I want you to drop fuel off here. All right, so that's our 3 stops. That's our 3 conditions, well, our 3 different trains. Let's get to building some trains. So back in here, we're going to have a new train. We're going to delete this guy. We're going to start afresh. We're going to make sure we're talking about the iron line. Yep. Can I get a diesel loco? 1, 2, 3, 4 hoppers. And you know what? Rather than having a penalty for driving backward, let's put another loco on the end. Yeah, that gets to be a little bit higher acceleration and that sort of stuff. And, well, it's just an extra locomotive. So we're going to build you. All right. Next one, can I have another new train? We're going to go for the rock and dirt. It's a shorter station, so we only need 2 wagons. And I don't really have a penalty for driving backwards with this train. So we're just going to build you as is. And then our third train is going to be, well, a tanker wagon, because we're just moving around fuel. And I don't really need a wagon at either locomotive at either end, but if I do, we get an even faster train. As we're just moving around a little bit of fuel, I prefer this guy to be in and out as fast as possible. I want this assigned on the fuel line, and I'm going to click build as well. So that's our 3 trains, and as we can see, we're off and about. You're going to come over here and pick up absolutely nothing, because we have absolutely nothing for you. You're going to also pop out here and pick up absolutely nothing, because they have absolutely nothing for you. Excellent. My fuel train should, where are we? Yeah. Should be going to fuel drop-off and then come back to fuel loading, where he can pick up both fuel and also has a way to refuel himself. It's something I decided to set up for this particular module. Make sure he can come in here and refuel himself. What the hell are you going? Iron pickup. Well, that's a hard way of doing things, but okay, I guess so. Sure, gonna go right the way around. I'm guessing the main line was blocked for half a second. Okay, where's our fuel train? Come on, fuel train, in here. All right, he can now pick up fuel, and then he can head over here. He's going to be able to drop off fuel, obviously, to top up our fuel station, our fuel station for the trucks right here. Okay, so with that done, let's add some iron to the mix. So can I add iron by unpausing all these belts? And then we can see our iron train picks up a little bit of iron, but then I have my very first catastrophe where my rock and dirt train picks up a bit of rock and dirt. So obviously things are not set up entirely correctly. Can I send you to the iron load station so you can drop off that? Your other option is you can always scrap the train and then rebuild it. If you do that, whatever it is in its cargo gets disappeared. But obviously I need to go back to the train line manager. Train line manager, I want you to go to iron and rock drop. No, iron pickup, and I want to add a filter, and I only want you to load rock and also dirt. Cool. So with that done, you should only be able to load up those 2 materials, and at the same time, can I unpause or repause these and unpause this one and this one? Okay, can we fly time forward? And I need you have... can I send you back to a rock and dirt? Okay. So now we have our large train coming in. This one's meant to be doing iron. And, well, he tries to load up at the front 4 containers, even though they're all empty and the rear ones are available. And then you should load up at the rear ones, and you're just going to pick up rock and dirt. Excellent. Then you're going to drive away. Perfect. So we've got you sorted. At the same time, we should probably, just on the off chance, also filter you, just so we can't have any mistakes, to only ever pick up iron. Because you're only meant to deal with iron, you're not meant to be dealing with anything else. And that should set up that. Now, a couple of things I want to do. Obviously, I have my fuel train driving back and forth. when he has no need to. Actually, he's got a little bit more need to. That's not quite full yet. But I also have my iron train driving back and forth without reason. So can we come in here? Can we say you're only allowed to come here if all the modules are full? So if all the modules are full, our iron train can now leave. And this is also automatically going to assign, unless you can't empty, no, you can empty. It's also going to assign the same condition to every other train that's visiting the station, even if they're on a separate line. So if we come to our little rock train, he says no valid goal. That is because he's got nowhere to go because we are not full of the only things he's allowed to pick up being rock or dirt. And he's waiting for all modules to be full, which does lead us to a new problem. We might have a situation where the rock's full, but the dirt's not. Therefore, I probably want it to be not all modules full, but if any modules are full. Yeah. So it could be full of rock or it could be full of dirt, doesn't really matter. And then he can come across and come pick things up. It does mean that if I have, one of you guys running iron, our iron train may come across here and just load up, or one full module worth, and whatever happens to be in the other modules, which at the moment is a whole lot of nothing, which is probably, never ever gonna happen, but it is a possibility. Meanwhile, my fuel train is keeping coming back and forth, even though we don't need him to. So I want to change this to if any module is empty, because there's only one module here, so we're going to make sure that our fuel train only comes back again if this module happens to be empty. If it's not empty, he doesn't have to visit. There's our rock and dirt train, and then our iron train's going to wait right behind him, and then he's going to pop in here and be able to pick up his little bit of iron. Cool. So we've come in here and we've set a couple of conditions in here. We have made sure that, our trains are being filtered. At the same time, we're also making sure that, our fuel pickup and our iron and our fuel pickup is only leaving if there's a reason for him to leave. We can add a little bit more to this by saying, hey, iron and rock drop, this station here. These boxes are fairly full. There's a chance they could back up, and therefore he could be driving over there with a full load of dirt, because he hasn't been able to unload it, to go get more rock. Now, that might be what I want, might also not be what I want. Same applies to the iron train. Maybe I don't want him to leave if, he hasn't been able to dump all the material. So we can also add a couple of filters in here. We want you to only leave here if you are empty of product. We can specify the product. We can say rock, and we can add a second departure condition, empty of product, and we can say dirt. Cool. And then can I pause your belts? So that way they'll never empty. Cool. And you are going to go pick stuff up, and I don't need that train anymore. Okay, so these are not quite full, but when he comes back, they should be completely full. Also, I should mention, I highly recommend at the same time you name things. So this is going to be rock and dirt pick up. So if you name your train, it's going to have a whole lot of easier time when it comes to what's that train doing and why is it doing it. So as you can see, these modules are now full. He can't leave because, they're still full. And then if we come back in here, we can make sure the rock gets emptied, but the dirt doesn't. So this is an and condition. We need to make sure both of these are definitely empty. I could change this to, that's definitely empty. Definitely full. Can I have a higher priority? Can you guys come pick up some stuff? Bad trucks, come on. Come pick up some stuff. You're ruining the example. All right, give me a sec to find a couple of idle trucks and get them come over here and do some work for us. All right, found some trucks, had them come and empty everything, and we can see we're now emptying of rock. As soon as we're empty of rock, we can change this to an or condition. So if he's emptied one but not the other, he would be allowed to leave. We can also unpause you as well, and then we can make sure that he at least has the ability to drive back and forth no matter what. Okay, other thing I should mention is, let's go with the iron train. Can I bring back up train line manager? Can I go iron load? And I would like to make sure, too fast. Come back here. Let's go this side. Okay, we can also color our trains. So let's have green. Can I have apply color line train cars? We can click that. We suddenly get a green train. Actually, green's probably more accurate for the dirt guy. Can we go with red? That's very close to the default colors. There is also a apply product color to line. I'm not sure actually what this does. Can I get iron? I've tried this every single time and it doesn't seem to do anything. Can we go to rock and dirt? Can we have apply product color to line? Yeah. And I'm sort of expecting these to change color according to what products are. No. Can I go with rock? Yep. No. Yeah, not sure what that one does. But we can definitely apply the color to the train cars. And, well, rock. Let's go with the green one. Green one we had before. Yeah, it's more dirty color. Hey, look, this truck's full of dirt. All right, so that takes us through those two. Now, the fuel train, same story. We could add multiple fuel stations. We could really expand on this. And that's what I want to do. I want to come out to a slightly newer scenario where we've got a few more train stops. Actually, no, there's one more thing we need to do, and that is fuel. I should have thought about that. Yeah, fuel. We're down to 16% fuel here. We're down to 9% fuel here, which is not good. So we should probably do something about fuel. Can I grab a little bit of train track? We're going to bring this out to here, out to here, and then, I don't know, build mode on. Can I turn build mode on, please? Thank you. Can we go to here? And I want to, let's go to there for a second. And then can I grab these two lines? Because we're going to merge all this together in a second. I want to hit that point. Can I go this? Okay. You are going to come into, yep. There. Cool. Thank you. And can I have this come out to here and then around to there? Okay, with that done, can I remove that piece? Can I remove that piece? Can I remove that piece? And that's all I really want. Yes, I do need to add to this a siding. So can I have a siding? Yep, and out to say here somewhere and then back into here. Cool. All right, can I just get all of that built? Excellent. And then let's add a couple more train stops. So we're going to have trains, buildings. Can I have a train station? We're going to dump this here. And then we're going to put in a fluid fuel module. Yeah. Is that all I want? No, I want this over here. Cool. And can I bring that to there? Can I also have a second train stop with a fluid station module? And then a fluid fuel module. Okay, and we're going to call this fuel drop. Yep, and we're going to ignore the other one for right now, and we're going to get that built. Okay, then I want to add on to the back of this. Actually, we already have storage. Yeah, I want this. Can I have that combo, please? So I can copy your settings to there. I can dump that there. And that should be all I need. Can I have a pipe that goes from there to there? All right, that should be all we need. Can I get that built? We're going to ignore the one on the right for the moment. And we're going to go back on the train line manager. So we have a fuel train. I want you to come over here and load up this fuel station with fuel. So we're going to add a stop here. We're going to add this one, which is the fuel drop-off. And we're going to, well, make sure there's a departure condition that you only leave if any module is empty. Yeah, I only want the fuel trains to come over here if any module's empty. Can they get here? You should be able to. Oh, yes, you can get there. But the problem is, you, on your train line, are trying to go here first. And if we go here, the module is not empty. There is no reason for it to leave to the first stop before it gets to the second stop. So that's a problem. So having this afterwards is not working because it can't go, as I said, to the first stop. And rather than skipping it because it's not open, he's just going to wait till he can go there. And then after he can go there, he's then going to come there. But the problem is after he goes to the first one, he's going to be out of fuel in his tank. So when he gets to the second one, it's still going to be, well, empty because he's out of fuel. So what I actually want to do is I want to say at equal priority, I want you to go here or here. So we're going to add this station to a group and click that. So once we've clicked that, you don't know how to path there. Yeah, I thought that might happen. Can I add a second track? I want here, yep, and yeah, I know the train track's going the wrong way. I don't really care. I was just as a marker. No, can I set direction that way? There we go. All right, we're going from here to here. Yep, and no, actually, it needs to match that one. Where's the start of the curve? Start of the curve is there. Cool. Can I put this? That tile? Yep. And then you're going to go to there. And the other ones are out of fuel. I know that. Can we just unpause that? And you're going to come back on that. Cool. So you now know how to get there. Excellent. And unfortunately, everybody else is out of fuel, but that's all right. We're about to fix that. It does mean that we might have a little bit of a queue whilst we wait for the slow trains to move, but that's fine. And then you can then park in this gap, which means our fuel train can get through to here. And he's going to top up this one. As long as any module is empty. Cool. There's a little bit of fuel here. That's important because now we can go back into our train line and I can say, well, let's start with rock and dirt. Rock and dirt, I can see you'd like some fuel. I would like you to come to our fuel station, but only when you are low on fuel. And the issue with what I've just done is he goes to iron pickup, and then after he's gone to iron pickup, being here, he then does the check. That's the only time he's going to do the check. Am I low on fuel? Yes, I am. So I'll go to the fuel station. So you need to either put these in multiple places in your train line. So after he's dropped off stuff, he could do a am I low on fuel check. After he's done here, he could do a am I low on fuel check. He could do this repeatedly everywhere. And that would probably work out for you. But I've also added a new problem to my list, I believe. No valid goal. Yeah, I've definitely added a new problem. And that is, you can definitely get here. Okay, hang on. Why can't you get there? Train tracks are all correct. No valid goal. You're definitely low on fuel. If any module is empty. Okay, let's turn off that for just a moment to make sure that it is not something I've done. Okay, so the module... Oh, the module's not empty. Of course, if the module's not empty, he's not allowed to visit. But the module's not empty. It has some fuel in there. Yeah, so the module has fuel in it. He can't visit. So having me drop off fuel here and also trying to refuel the trains at the same time is probably a bad idea. Also, I've realized that you are set the wrong way. Cool. Doesn't really matter because it worked anyway. But with me making that change, I do believe that you are also going to keep trying to come here constantly, even though, the other guys are trying to go there and get fuel. I should also have our iron load. No, we'll wait a second for you. So we're going to have you pop in and get fuel. Our little refuel train is going to come in right behind him and then add more fuel, even though it doesn't need it. And then our fuel train is going to go back, pick up more fuel, just to drop this time because he still has, his tank's still half full. Yeah. And then he's going to come straight back to here again because this station's always open. Always open. So what I actually want to do is I want to have this station instead. I want to call this one main line refuel station. Cool. And then I want to bring my pipe from here into here. Cool. With that done, I can then set this one to only have if all modules are empty. Yep. So we're going to bring out new fuel when we actually need to bring out new fuel. And then at the same time, I can change my rock and dirt to not go to here. I want you to go here instead when you need fuel. Iron as well. Can I get you to do the exact same? Only come out here when you actually need fuel. And unfortunately, you just missed the turn, dude. So you need fuel again. No. Oh, you're going around. It's quicker for you to go around, almost, so close, than it is to wait for the slow train. It was close. That's now topped all the way up. And you're going to go pick up more rock and dirt. And I should also just get the rest of this iron moved across. There you go. And yeah, running trains out of fuel, very bad idea. For the record, I really recommend you make sure you set up some fuel. Hence, we're going through this demonstration where the train is definitely full of fuel and moves now even slower because it has more weight on it, which is much worse. Cool. But you should be able to come to here and you should be able to get fuel. This has 150 tons in it and 150 units, and you guys have a fuel tank of 32 each. And what's going to happen is you're going to pull up a fuel station, and more importantly, the guy with the hose, well, he runs out and runs up and down the train line, doesn't matter how long the train line is, and fills up everybody with fuel. I'm not sure if you have more refueling stations, if that speeds up the refueling time, something to experiment with, something to try out. But with that done, you now have fuel as well. Okay, so you're going to go back, and we have now set up a slightly more complicated, junction, intersection, train line, where we're now picking up resources only if there's resources to pick up. If there's no resources to pick up, please don't pick them up. We can also set up the other side, so we don't leave unless we're fully unloaded at the same time. We have a single fuel line, so everybody can just pick up fuel on their way home or on their way to work, wherever it happens to be, rather than me having to ship around fuel everywhere. But I'm also shipping fuel directly to my mine to make sure that we can have fuel locally. So with that done, let's complicate things one more step by upgrading things just a little bit. So rather having the trains go back and forth on a smaller main line, we've now included a whole lot of extra track along with, our secondary mine. So we have our first iron mine that's I'm telling you, it's about to run out of iron, and we need to expand to something a little bit different, something a little bit more, resources that we can keep digging up for a little while longer. Also, our fuel trains have changed just slightly. Rather than having a single fuel station, I now have a couple of fuel stations. So that's the first place I'd like to start. So we're going to come in here, we're going to go to our fuel train, and I'm going to delete the old station. And what I want to do is, same as I have here, we have a choice of 2 stations they can go to. I want to add a second station to this group, and we're going to add this one. This one's a slightly longer station, so we can pick up a little bit more fuel in each trip. And can we come here? Can we have a new train? We're going to put you on the fuel line. We're going to go with a diesel, 2 tankers, and another diesel. Cool. So you're going to enter on the fuel line as well. Other thing I should do with these fuel lines is I should set a train limit of 1. That means only 1 train is allowed to reserve this station at the same time. And I should also explain a little bit of this track infrastructure. So as we can see, we have the main line going both left and right. And in here, we have a situation where coming either from the left or from the right, we can get into this single part here, which is split into these 2 train stations. Now, the default behavior is pause. Can I set a no stop section? No, exclusive zone. I can't because you're on the track. Okay, get off the track. Normally when you build this, because this part's bi-directional, this and this and this is all marked as one continuous bi-directional section, which leads to a small problem. If we click on the pathfinding, we can see that this area is marked with both blue and the yellow. Blue and yellow means it has reserved that whole section because we're only allowed to have 1 train on here at one time. So what I did here is I removed the exclusiveness from this little section and from this section and also from this section. Once that's done, if I bring this back up again, this is still exclusive. We can only have 1 train at a time, but this is also all been marked as no stopping. No trains allowed to come in here and park, which means only 1 train can choose track at once, and also means that I can have a train here and a train here because they're not on their own exclusive tracks. We have 2 separate exclusive tracks. Okay, so you're going to load up with fuel, and you're going to load up with fuel. At the moment, you are still refueling at this station, and we're going to add another fuel stop for you. I want you to come over, and we're going to add to this group. We want to add no, I don't want to add a filter. I want to add a station to the group. I want to add this one. This is the mine fuel, and you are going to be only if all modules are empty. Cool. Same as we had previously. Now, 2 fuel trains might be enough for you. Also, you might be expanding, so you might want a couple of fuel trains in reserve. You might want to park them at different spots around the map to have a little bit of fuel spread out. All depends on how you want to do things. And this does not have a train limit of 1, so both of them are coming here, which is maybe what you want, maybe what you don't want. Maybe you want to set a train limit of 1, maybe a train limit of 2, all depends. But what I want to do is I would actually like to have a few more fuel trains. If we come back into here and I say new train on the fuel line, can I build 1 of them? Can I build 2 of them? Can I also build a shorter one, please? And can I get another shorter one as well? Cool, that's a lot of fuel trains, which is going to lead us to our very first problem. We're going to have too many fuel trains, and they're going to start parking on the main line. You're going to park in there, you're going to park in there. You're going to refill this, and where's that other fuel train? Ah, you're right here. You have no valid goal because you're going to go to, minefield. The station after that is going to be one of these 2. and these have a train limit of 1, and these trains are currently parked in here. So what I want to do is I want to give them somewhere to park, somewhere to be off the main line. So I have the fuel waiting station. Over here, we're going to add a new stop. It's going to be this one. I'm going to put this in here. Move this down. Cool. So now they can go to the fuel waiting station, and they're just going to park one behind one another off the main line. And I don't know, I can park 4 or 5 of them in here. So hopefully that gives us a little bit of gap, a little bit of room where they can park out of the way. Also at the same time, I probably want to set these to a train limit of 1 for every single one of them, so we don't have a burst of trains leaving all at the same time to go to a single station. Yeah, we're going to set you, and you're going to come back and get more fuel. You're going to load up that fuel, and parked, and you're parking there. Yep. And you can always say, okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trains. I could always limit this to, say, probably 5. So I have 1 parked here, and then also 1 free fueling station should I need a free fueling station. So I can always have a station open for the fueling trains. So that's the first thing we can do. We can definitely park trains off the main line. Next thing I want to do is I want to update some of our existing trains. So I have a brand new mine that has a unlimited pile of iron that I need to dig up. Normally you'd have your trucks drive out of the mine and up here to load up the train station. What I'd like to do is I'd like to set up a small shunting train. So can I get a brand new train line? We're going to have a new line. We're going to call you the shunting line. You're going to be, I don't know, can you be black and, oh, I didn't hit enter. Shunting line. Cool. You're going to be a black train. Can we apply this? And you're going to be mostly moving around iron, mostly. And we're going to add a stop. I want you to come into the mine and then out of the mine to here. That's going to be your whole job in life. And then we need to be making a train. Our train's going to be a little bit different this time. We're going to be building it backward. So I want a hopper, and then a diesel. And then you're going to be on the shunting line, and we're going to send you off. Okay, you're going to come down here. And because of directionality, you're going to be coming in, well, rear first. Because you're coming in rear first with the, you come in from the front, which happens to be the wagons. The wagons are at the front of the train, and you're going to be driving into our little shunting station. Come on, down here you get. You got close enough yet? Cool. Here's our brand new little black train, which can't park. Cool. I need to have just a little bit of track on the end. Doesn't have quite enough room. Cool. Up you go, and then come back, please. Yep. Back and you come, and you're going to load up with, well, iron, and also coal. So this little train has a top speed up the hill, 72. I don't know whether you can actually get to 72 up the hill. It may be a reason to have a steam train. And you, each time you travel up and down the hill, do you tell me what speed you're traveling at? No, you do tell me your distance traveled. But yeah, each time you travel up the hill, you're going to be moving 240 iron ore and potentially another 120 stone. Being that you're later game, you're digging lower in a mine, you don't find a lot of dirt anymore. I'm happy to just put the dirt in a box to have trucks come pick up the dirt from a box. But I definitely wouldn't mind if we could, well, dig to the bottom of the mine, get to the flat spot, and then just keep digging along the flat spot with the ore sorter in the mine area. And then just a small shunting train that's going to load up everything and drive it up here, where we go from, well, 2 modules out to, that's a set of, how many lanes are we using? 6, and that's 6. So that's 12 long, is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, 12 plus another 7 for rock. Yeah, because they're the 2 items we're mostly going to be getting now. And then I would like to have separate trains come come pick up these. So we're going to take our existing lines. Where are we? A little bit later in the game, so we're not going to be rock and dirt. We're just going to be rock only. And this guy could potentially serve a couple of mines. And we want your train, please. Can I send you off to get scrapped so we can do a retrofit on you? And you, same story. I want you to be sent off to be scrapped so I can do a retrofit on you. Now, our iron load station. We could keep this station active for a little while longer, and we might end up doing that actually. Yeah, we can try that. Okay, can our iron pick up? I want you to come to here if any module is full. I also want you to come to here if any module's full. We need to change you to be any module is all modules are full. All modules are full for this one. Yep, because this is just gonna be iron, and you we're gonna do if all modules are full as well. Okay, the rock station. I don't want you to do dirt anymore, and I also want you to do. No, I want to add to iron pickup. Yeah, we want to add a station in this group. We want to add this one, and you're going to be doing rock only. Cool. All right, so our current stations. I do not want you to be doing dirt anymore. So we're going to remove the dirt module. We're going to put the iron module here, the rock module rather, and we're going to have you be, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 long. 6 long. Okay, and as you can see, the iron one I've already upgraded. It's now 8 long as well. Okay, so can I get a brand new train? No, we've just modified those. So can I get a brand new train? All right, we want you to be on the iron line. We're going to clear that, and I want a longer train. I want to have one locomotive. That's going to be very important because I don't have a lot of room at the front of the station because we're entering from here. And then I need, what was it? 12 wagons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then at the same time, I'm going to put a couple of diesel locos at the back just to push the things along. I know there's a penalty with pushing. Obviously, if I plan things a little bit better. Oh, wow. It actually decreases the max speed. Oh, they're wagons. My bad. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, okay, that increases the max speed. Well, increases the acceleration, not the max speed. All right, so we're going to throw 3 of those on the back, and we're going to send you off. And in theory, you're going to come here first. Now, I'm pretty sure I've made this station long enough to fit that particular train. You are filtered to do iron only from both of these stations, so you should be perfectly fine doing that job. All right. As for our rock one, we need, if we look at our rock station, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I want to have a new train. We're going to delete everything on the end. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And do I have room for a couple of locos on the front? We're bringing in this way. I definitely do. Can I put a loco? Just to have you be a little bit faster. Yeah, that's decent speed. Can I put you on the rock line and build you? All right, so with that done, you're going to come in here. You're going to be far too long for the station. Oh, no, you're going to pull forward, except you can't pull all the way forward. So I need to have this line be a little bit longer, and then you can fit and pull all the way forward. You're just going to be picking up rock, which is probably going to be problematic, considering you're a lot longer than you used to be, and then you're going to probably leave. Now, because I have constant ore coming here, this is going to ruin my example, so let me pause that line and pause that line, and go pause all of these as well, so we can finish with this mine once and for all, and then we can look at our new mine. You will get an alert on these guys because they technically haven't reached the station because they're blocked. There is a way to fix this. It's basically put in lots of fuel waiting stations and then make sure that they're all exclusive, so only one train can park at each station. It's a little bit more fiddly to set up, but you know, if you just turn off the alerts for that particular one, you don't have to worry about it. So you are going to park in here. You have a very long train. You only just fit. In fact, you're hanging over the no stopping zone just a little bit, but you should fully load with a whole lot of ore. You're a little bit slower, only 43 kilometers per hour, but you're moving, what did I say, 12 by 120. 12 times 120 ore. That's 1,440 ore. That's a decent amount of haulage to move halfway across the map very, very quickly. And he's only going to come out here when these are all full at the same time. So once our little shunting train has filled up all of, well, the modules up here, that's the only time he leaves. So he only leaves when he has to, rather than having a belt that's potentially using power all the time, moving stuff back and forth. And because our station, well, our train, because our train can't fully unload at once, he's going to have to pull forward through the station and unload at separate modules as he can. Are you still unloading? I don't think you're actually unloading anymore. No, you're not unloading anymore. But I can definitely set you to be in here. Iron drop. Can I add a depart condition? Empty. You have to be empty before you're allowed to leave. And no valid goal. Yeah, I know there's no valid goal. Can I get you to just reset, please, by driving to here? Unknown. Mainline refuel. Well, yeah, you don't need to do that. Can I get you to drive here instead? Yeah, you are trying to drive there. And once you've done that, maybe reset. And you, can I send you off again just so we get another example of you visiting this one? We're just going to send this to unrestricted. So you come across and you go pick up some stone for us. You should drive to there. And can I go back to iron drop? Okay, and where are you? So you're coming through here. You can fit in nicely, load up with what little stone there is. There won't be a whole lot because you just didn't unload. And then you're going to come back to here. Come on. All the way around the map. Perfect. And then you're going to come in here. And again, because I have 6 unloads with 7 wagons, he's going to pull up. He's going to unload what he can. And then he's going to pull forward and unload the very last wagon. So he's going to end up parking all the way up there and then unload the last wagon. And then he needs to probably, in his case, turn around to go back and do another load. And you're back off the iron ore pickup because all these must be full. Yep, they're all full again. Ready to go. And we can set back to only when all modules are full. So we're only scheduling trains when we need to have trains come out. We'd also make sure that they are set to always be empty. So they have to be empty before they're allowed to leave. We have a main fuel line, so everybody can go to one spot to pick up fuel rather than driving all over the place. And technically, if you plan your stations out a little bit correctly, or a little bit well, or I remove this crossover and made sure that you could access, what line do you need to access? You need to have, this needs to be bidirectional. You need to have, this entry from the file line needs to come into here. Basically, I need to copy this and put it over here. That would be the fix. Yeah, if I did that, I could have the iron train still service this when all of these are full, remove the dirt, and, well, I'd have to separate out the... No, actually, I wouldn't have to separate out the rock. I just have to remove the dirt, and I can do the same with the rock as well. And I could even have my 7-long rock wagon drive through here and just pull through the rock one at a time and load up a carriage at a time. It does mean I have to have a stockpile here with a very fast belt to feed in, so it fills up by the time you pull forward one step. But with that done, yes, we now have some advanced modules, we now have some advanced train lines, and we have the ability for you to drive in the wrong way, so now you're too long, so you have to pull all the way through, and you need to turn the train around. I turn the train around because it's odd length. Yeah, obviously, having only a tiny bit of free space is probably not a good idea. I could fix this by doing that and doing that. I do risk trains blocking one another whilst the train's loading, but considering he's only coming here when he's fully loaded, it probably doesn't matter. And you're over here to get another load of rock. Perfect. So yes, with the train line manager, there is a lot of options. There are a lot of advanced options. There is also, I do think, a perfectly valid reason to have a small shunting train that just goes in and out of your mines. If you're 20 tiles deep, which is roughly what we are here, we're at 2 high here, we're at 24 here, I think there's a valid reason to have a small shunting train, especially with some of the deeper mines late game, where you could be 30, 50 tiles deep. Yeah, a small shunting train, maybe a little bit bigger than this, with a little bit more free space cleared, where it's 4 or 5 wagons long with a couple of locomotives at the front to pull it up the hill, could very much benefit you rather than having trucks try and do that driving, or trying to build belt infrastructure, which you need to keep adjusting as you dig lower and lower. Yeah, in fact, I've never really put the sorters in the mines. I've already just had the trucks drive up and down, but they do spend a lot of time driving back and forth, whereas this train could do things much more efficiently, and it does not use a lot of diesel to drive up and down that hill. Here's, well, using all the diesel he possibly can going up, and then uses well, pretty much nothing going downhill because he's breaking the whole way. Anyway, with all that said and done, I'm going to leave this particular video here. If you found it helpful, by all means, do me a favor, leave a like on the video. And if you want to see more train tutorials or just tutorial videos on capital industry itself, by all means, hit the subscribe button. But with all that said and done, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you in the very next video. All right, bye.